What's up, you guys? It's To Bestow part 27, and I've been trying to make this video for a long time, and I finally just committed some time to make this video. This is going to be somewhat some ASMR, but I kind of want to explain what's happening right now with this series and just in general my direction for this series and what buttons mean to me. So every now and then the algorithm changes, and what I mean by that is about 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, about a year ago, I started sewing buttons in this type of way on my pants, where I would have 7 one-hole buttons going down to create sort of like a kaleidoscopic button effect. You see how it makes that noise? And then I said, I want to change up. And what really inspired this change up was, now it's going on 2 years ago, 2022. And this is kind of me talking symbolically, but also very literally, because I have a relationship with buttons in the sense that I change them. And when I change the series of buttons, I call that change an algorithm change. And so in 2022, I remember I was working at this job and I needed some work pants, and I had these, and I started to use all of the buttons that I sew, which is the 2-hole buttons, the 4-hole buttons, and the 1-hole buttons, 2-4-1. And it's not exactly the new direction, which is now going forward, I have this algorithm. So it's the 2-4-1 buttons, but in a different setting. And I don't know if this makes any sense. The point I'm making here is that I'm sewing as many buttons, and I'm changing the way these buttons are represented in the outfit. And I have to do that for all of the remaining clothes that I have and going forward. Now, I say I have to do it, but I don't say it as if I don't do it, there's a penalty because I'm the one doing it. But I am really thinking how buttons for me, the representations anyway, are to display different and relatable stories. So the fact that buttons change an algorithm, I wanted to share that because I know that this is a 77 episode endeavor and this is only part 27, but I've already summarized the future and I'm getting more understanding the more I sew. All of that to say, I have to change, and I will be sewing buttons in this video until the camera allows me to. I have an appointment in like 20 minutes, so I'm going to try to sew this new algorithm, which is again 7 buttons going down in various forms, all of the 2-4-1 buttons. I used to have, and I still will have on occasion, see, these are the pair of pants I'm sewing today. So I'm actually going to keep these buttons on the sides because some of my pants I actually like it having multiple buttons, but I realize not all of my clothes need to have the same algorithm. Like, the buttons change according to the outfit. I'm saying all of this to say it used to be the case that the algorithm determined what the outfit was, and now the buttons determine the algorithm. And they may not seem like a revelation to you, but it's a revelation to me because in my OCD-like behavior, I tend to want to sew all of the buttons according to the same algorithm, which would be this algorithm. 3 buttons on one side and 7 buttons on the other side, so it's a total of 10 buttons. And the algorithm prior was a total of 14 buttons, so I'm removing 4 buttons. But to remove the buttons, I also have to keep the remnants, which would be, all of the embroidery thread. I collect all of these pieces. So it's a series of sewing, recycling, reformatting. But the revelation in this is that the outfit determines the algorithm. The algorithm is no longer taking the front seat, and that makes sewing a more therapeutic process. Not that it wasn't therapeutic when the algorithm took the front seat, but the algorithm, I was justifying just this committed time lapse into just sewing, making sure all of my pants fit the same algorithm, when it's like I can sew as I go. And this is why I sew to bestow. And so enough on that. So I'll get back to why I'm making this video. I already have the set of buttons that I'm going to sew. I'm going to get to it, and then that'll be the end of this episode. So no more talking, but that was a necessary update to give, because in making these videos I realized that not all of you even know what I'm talking about. I mean, none of this may make any sense. What am I even talking about with algorithms? And what is this sew to bestow situation? I've been sewing buttons on for a long time. It's a form of therapy, but it's also me playing around with color recognition. Oh wow. See, these pants that I'm actually about to sew are actually kind of falling apart. I need to patch it up. I just realized there's a hole here. There's a hole, and I had to patch it up here the day I wore them the last time because there's a hole that created. So these are very sensitive, lightly fabric, yeah, it's light fabric essentially. So gotta be careful.